Hello, wonderful people. My name is Kat Singer, and I am the guest curator for this year's Being Seen small group show that I'm calling Uncommon Threads. And today we're having a virtual studio visit with Kingi Carpenter, who is a Toronto legend in screen printing. So, hi, Kingi.
Hi.
Could you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
I am a lifelong screen printer. I started making fabric and making silk screens back in art school in the early 80s, and I loved it so much. I love how screen printing is a mix of art and fashion and repeating images and science. So I really got into it, and it's all I've done ever since. All I want to do.
Right, awesome. Can you briefly show us your studio and describe like where you work?
Sure. So this is my studio space, which is a storefront in Parkdale at Queen and Roncesvalles. And as you can see, I've decorated the walls with paint by number art that I collect to create a really interesting, fun, artistic environment. And to me, it sort of says something about the democratization of art, the way paint by numbers are just painted by regular people. And they're all original hand-painted paint by numbers. And to me, they go so well with my screen printing, because to me, screen printing is a repeating image that there's duplicates, but very low-tech duplicates of hand printing. And the same with paint by numbers. Everybody's painting the same image. So it's like very low-tech handmade duplicates. So they go together really well. So what I find interesting about this space is I do a lot of teaching of screen printing, and I host events here, and I make my own stuff. And it's a nice evolution from my old Peach Preserve, which was down the street near Spadina, which was mostly making and selling clothes. So to me, this is my new incarnation. It's still based on textiles and making things in creativity, but in a way now that I find really exciting and new for me. So this is where I will be doing and I am doing all the art for this show. It's just that tonight there's a party here, so I've sort of spiffed it up. You can't see my tables, but if you'd seen it 2 hours ago, there were print tables everywhere and ink everywhere and screens everywhere. It will be that way again tomorrow. So that's what my space is all about, as you can see. You probably see ink stains on the floor. That's part of the look.
That's so exciting. So if you want to give a shout out to your space and like exactly where it is, you can.
Oh, sure. I mean, anybody's welcome to visit and see my art collection. I don't sell any. I'm like the Louvre, I don't sell my art, but anybody's free to come in anytime that I'm here and just see my beautiful collection, ask questions about it. I find, and people tell me that after visiting here, it puts them in such a good mood to see this beautiful art. And I always host art events. So if you want to learn to silkscreen or have a creative party here or host your own teaching thing, the great thing about my space is you can be as messy as you want. Nobody's messier than me. So I don't care if you spill ink on the floor. Do what you like. So I think it's a great spot of creativity in Toronto. That's what I'm creating, I hope.
Amazing. So your piece in the show,
Yep.
Can you give us a little bit of a visual description? This is for folks who might not be able to
Sure.
experience it by sight. So, some visual detail.
Well, first of all my long career in textiles, I have never, since I was in art school, been in a gallery show. This is the first time. So I'm so excited. And what I'm creating is an entire environment, which I've been so lucky to be able to do with this show. So I have a room and I am going to saturate it with textiles. Everything's going to be printed and covered in prints. And it's going to be just like, I want a person to walk in from it being plain on the outside to going like this, because they haven't seen so much textiles in one space. And I think that it took me a while to figure out why I wanted to do this. And I think that the really underlying reason is it's inside of me. It's come into my world is my working title, because my whole inner world is textiles and drawings and images and my creations in a visual sense. So I think it's like walking into someone's head, which I think really fits the theme of the entire show, because we're dealing with our own mental awareness and the art we create. Well, I actually think it's like we're walking inside someone's head and my thoughts and what matters to me. So the prints that I'm really concentrating on are the prints throughout my career and new ones that are most important to me. And most of them have to do with feminism and individuality. So those are the prints that I can show you some of if you want to see.
Yeah, that would be really lovely to see some of your prints, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about their meaning and history too.
Sure. So, and they go way back, some of them. This one goes as far back as we're ever going to go with Peach Preserve. This goes back to the early 80s. And it's just ladies that I created and repeated. So these were my first Peach Preserve ladies. And then this one is called Iron Lady, which is all irons that I made while I was still at art school. And I remember someone saying to me once, it really was quite meaningful to me. She said, and she was a woman older than me, and she was like, well, why are you doing pictures of ladies or lipsticks or irons? When aren't we supposed to be feminist and get beyond that stuff? And my answer was, no. Why are you saying because it's something traditionally used by women, it's a bad thing? I'm the opposite. I say we elevate and glorify things that are traditionally women's. That's where I come from. So there'll be things like this in the show. And anything I think that's traditionally female that can be raised to an art form is what's important to me. Like, okay, this is an old print of mine that's called I Haven't Got a Thing to Wear, and it's all dresses and brassieres and stuff. So if I can show you, I don't have these screens anymore. So we're doing this sort of a slightly new version of that, which we've made the screens, but we haven't printed yet, where we're going to be printing like crazy. Another print that was sort of part of my old look were things like stove elements. And what I want to do is do the entire carpet in stove elements. So you're stepping on them. I think that's fun. And kitchen implements. And honestly, these will be everywhere, everywhere. We don't want one spot that you look at to not have a screen print. This is also one that's really important to me, a very modern print for Peach Berserk. And it's called Groovy Uterus, and it's all uteruses, which I think also is elevating things that are female to an art form. Or this one, I could go on all day, I really could. But this one is a bunch of sort of what are seen as mundane, mostly female things, elevated to my form of art. And this one is also very important to me. My mud flap girls, as you can see. And the reason I do this is because, especially women my age, I don't know about younger women as much, but so many depictions of women were sort of taken by men, as we're taking the depiction of a female silhouette, and we're going to put them on our trucks, and they kind of belong to us. And for me, it's very important for women to take these images back and say, no, we're women, we want these images. Like on my wall here, I have a wall of all pin-up paint by numbers from the 50s. And sometimes men come in and they don't even know what to do. They don't understand a woman having them. Well, to me, it's important that as women, we take back our own imagery. So that's one reason I do this print. So it's all going to be my versions of feminism and glorifying things traditionally female that mean a lot to me. That's sort of my idea. That's sort of what is important to me. So people will come into this world that I'm creating, and for some people, they'll get it and they'll be similar, and some people won't at all. It won't be their thing. And I think art's just as valid for those who don't understand, or it's not their thing, or rubs them the wrong way, is just as valid, and maybe even more so, that those who feel comfortable in it, if that makes sense. And everything's going to be pink. It's all pink, maybe some red, but it's going to be glittery pink and girly. So I will be very interested to see the reactions of people. Will be just so much fun for me.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited because like I didn't know yet that it would be pink.
Oh, yeah.
So very pink.
Very
And
pink. I mean, yeah, maybe a smidge of other colors, some red, and maybe things hand painted and white with pink, but it's going to be a pink world. And yeah, that's what it's going to be.
that's exciting. So you've answered a lot of the questions that I was gonna ask, but I do want to ask because like I've for the record I've warned every artist about how this is gonna get personal. So
Mhm.
it's going on in your life now that's like impacting the creation of this piece or like inspiring this piece.
Well, I guess a lot of, I think that that's just always going to happen. You create art that's contemporary to your feelings at the time. And what's I think most important to me right now is I recently turned 60. And you can't help it, but at that age, especially as a woman, to go, well, what does that mean for me as a woman at this point? I think through a lot of our history, women, once they got to be the age I am now, a lot of our femininity is almost taken away for us. We're not valid anymore. We're not childbearing years. We're older women, so we don't count. We're crones. So what does 60 mean to me as a woman? And how has it changed or how has it stayed the same? So I think that where I am right now is very important to my depiction of being female or feminist. And if anything, I've gotten more radicalized and more energetic about it than less. If anybody says, oh, well, people settle down as they get older and mellow out, not me at all. I think I've become more, it's intensified with these thoughts. So for me, it's a perfect time to do this exhibit because I feel I've got a ton of energy and a lot of thoughts towards how I feel feminism affects me at this age, as opposed to when I started Peach Berserk when I was 24. And how's it changed and how is it the same? I've gone on, I've rambled a bit, but does that mean anything? I hope.
It means a lot. And how has it stayed the same? You've said like you've changed in that you've become more radicalized. What are
Yeah.
some of the things that are the same for you over time?
Well, I've always loved I've always loved the emergence of feminism. The way that I grew up in a time where feminism was sort of, I was born in the 60s and how it was sort of just nascent and coming about where women got more freedoms. And I saw that all develop through the 70s and into the 80s, where I felt in the 80s, I felt, wow, things are so modern. I can run my own business. I can be a single woman with my own apartment and run my own crazy fashion business. And that was so freeing and wonderful. Although I had to fight quite a bit. Like in the beginning, they didn't even want to give me a bank account at the bank, a business bank account. They just looked at me and thought, no. But I fought and I got what I wanted. And so that fight continues because there's still thoughts, the thoughts people have of you walk in the room before you do. So now, so as I was depicted as a goofy young woman who couldn't run her own business, now I'm probably seen as a goofy older woman and all the baggage that comes with that. So it's still ageism and sexism, but from a different side of chronologically different. So in a ways, it's still the same. But maybe I feel now, having lived so many years, how important it is to fight for what you want and to pave the way for younger people. So fight for whatever it is you want, and it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Somebody was in my store earlier and was sort of questioning me having paint by numbers all over the walls, and I said, listen, if this isn't a testament to me doing whatever I feel like and not caring what anyone thinks, nothing is. So I guess at the end of the day, what I'm saying is just be yourself, and whatever's in your head, you can manifest it into the world and make your life fun. So if you see it in your head, manifest it into the world, and people will appreciate that. And you might inspire somebody to just be themselves. That's what I'm hoping, is they'll go, geez, she did that. Well, what can I do? So that's why I think this into my mind or into my world is really what this is about.
Mhm.
Make any sense? You know, I'm
Yeah.
kind of just creating these thoughts, but yeah, that's what it's about for me. And now that I'm older and you can sort of see time ticking, there's more urgency to get done what I want to do. When you're younger, you go, I got years and years to do stuff. I'm going to do that. Now I'm like, no way, I got to do it now. You know, I got to really get done all these things I want to do. So I wake up in the morning now wanting to do more than any other point in my life. So when this gallery show came about, it was like, I couldn't believe it. I was so happy because it so will culminate all these thoughts and feelings and work I've done for over 35 years now into one thing. That's the way I'm looking at it. So it's very important to me. I'm taking it very seriously. It's like on my thoughts all the time. So, and
Amazing.
yeah.
So let's go back in time and explore like how did you come to work with textiles and like what do you like about working with textiles?
Well, textiles to me are the best art form because they're so malleable and can be so many things. So firstly, I've always loved clothes. And I love fashion you can wear. I mean, art you can wear. To me, I love the practicality of art that you don't put on the wall, but you put on your body or use for pillowcases or domestic things. I love that. And they fit so well with screen printing, which to me is an amazing art form because I love the mechanical but hand nature of it, the way it's manual but mechanical. And I love repeating images. So I think an image is really beautiful on its own, but once it repeats, it becomes more interesting to me. And then you also get negative space. So you have an image you've created, but once you repeat that, you get this space in between the images become really interesting, or images take on a new meaning once they're repeated. In a way I find, why do I like that? I just like their mechanical nature. And like I said, the way you can wear them and the way that every time you print a screen, it can be a different color, whether it's the fabric or the type of fabric or the color of ink. I think it makes art a bit less precious, which I like. And the way a lot of people can own it because they can buy it because it's less expensive than a one-of piece. And each one can be a little different. I think also silk screening lends itself to imperfection because if you hand print, you're going to get grainy prints and mucky prints. And I'm an imperfectionist. I love the art of imperfection. I could go on all day why I love screen printing. And I also like the discipline of having to follow the rules of it, where you've got to have the right exposure time. You've got to make your screens correctly. You can't let your screens get too much light before you shoot them. And I build my own light tables, and it was really fun for me to figure a way to build really efficient, inexpensive light tables that any of my students can build for seriously under $70. And that also further democratizes art, which I love, and that everybody can take their own direction. I also love the way screen printing has been used since the early 1900s for social change and social activism, whether it was feminism, whether it was the Vietnam War, labor fights of the 1940s. All you could go through so much of history of our last century and now how it's been used for positive change. So I love that about screen printing, which I think I use it for with feminism or different causes I believe in. I like to use combine politics and fashion. To me, is really interesting with clothes. So a lot of reasons. I mean, it's like a personal religion to me. Screen printing is personal religion. And I love the way I can so easily show others how to do it and give them this amazing tool. I think is great. But I also have to say, I will never forget when I was 23, the first time I screen printed and I lifted the screen for the first time, and it was like an epiphany. It was like a religious experience. I never forgot that moment. I was like, what can I do with this? I just knew I'd found my calling in life. So this is really important to me. And it's never let me down. It's never let me down to this day. I still love it. Today I must have put together, because I'm teaching 2 classes tomorrow, I must have put together 20 screens for the class. These are classes where they just shoot the screens. I pre-make them. And so every day I do it. I'm not stopping now.
Well, it's really great. It's really great to have this studio visit with you. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your worldview and about the upcoming piece. I really look forward to having you in the space and the opening and everything. So thank you.
Well, I just appreciate it so much. And the way I've got that beautiful spot, I'm just so happy. You don't know, I don't think you could know what this means to me to do. And it's a point in my life where it's just perfect. So I'm super excited. And I don't even know how it's all going to come together. It's quite organic how it's going to come together. I have a vision, but it's going to take on so many cute things. And after seeing the space, was it yesterday or the day before? I now even have more ideas of what I want to do with it. And thank you so much. I'm excited.